Welcome back to Rants and Reviews. Today we're talking about Lost Legacy, the Starship specifically, by AEG.
Now this is the first version of Lost Legacy, right? The Starship was the first original one?
Yes, as far as I know, yes. There was a Japanese version that was put out at one point.
Awesome. So this game is not on its own, though. There are expansions that you can mix and match with these games.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just talk about the game a little bit. This is a game that is very, very similar to Love Letter.
Which is not shocking because it is by the same designer.
Yes.
Love Letter, plus one other designer as well.
So it's when you look at this video, don't look at it and go, wait a minute. You know, it is. There's no copyright issues here or any legal issues between two companies like we've been seeing in the news, some other ones. This is basically just a really fun, really quick, really easy party game. And in that in mind, let's go through how the game works. You have a deck of cards, you have a ruin, and you have your hand. Every player starts with one card. There's one card in the ruins, and there's cards in the deck. So on your turn, and I'll go first, you draw a card, and then you get to play one card. Just like a game you might have heard of before.
Flux?
So when you play the cards have special abilities, and just like Love Letter. For instance, Shadow Thief. Look at another player's hand or any card in the ruins. If that card is the Lost Legacy card, you win the game. So you discard that card, and then I get to choose. Now, I want you to see a little something here. I'm going to pick Frank's card. Well, look at Frank's card. Frank's got the Sneak Attack card. This card is very, very painful. This is a card that'll make the game go a little bit faster, a lot faster than Love Letter. If this card is in your hand and is looked at by another player, discard this card and you get the hand of that player. That player is also eliminated. So in a multiple play game, this would basically mean that Frank would get my hand, the game would continue, I'd be out.
Right.
Two-player game, Frank just won.
Yep.
Hypothetically speaking, let's go into a different hand. And let's show how the game works normally, though.
Yeah,
normally on the gameplay, you would go through the whole deck. Your concept is trying to find, hold on to, or destroy your opponents.
Correct. You're trying to find one specific card, which is the 5, the Lost Legacy.
The Lost Legacy.
Which is a starship.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So, hypothetically speaking, let's pretend that we've played through the entire game.
Correct.
We're done.
We're done.
We are down to the one cards in our hand,
and
the one card here.
And this is called the investigation phase.
This is at the end of the game. We try to find out where the Lost Legacy is. If we have it, if they have it, or if it's in the ruins. Now, hypothetically speaking, at this point in the game, you would need to know who has the lowest card.
Right. In this game, unlike in Love Letter, the lowest hand is actually better in this case.
Because you get an idea of where the card is. So you would try not to show your hand of what you have, because if you say, well, I have a 5, and he's got a 1, he knows who to check.
Basically, I was going to go around and say, okay, who has a 1? If you have the 1, you get to guess first. Mm-hmm. You can either guess your hand, the ruins, or any other player's hand. Mm-hmm. And it goes up from there.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Think of it kind of like the way you reveal the carrots in Killer Bunny. Mm-hmm. So once you get there, if you get to 5 and you have the Lost Legacy and no one's lower than you, you can just go,
I guess me.
Me. And then you win. However, if you would say have a 1, a 2.
Which I have a 2.
So now he gets to go first. He gets to guess that's in my hand, or he gets to guess that's in the ruins. Now, if he's wrong, that's it for him.
Correct.
But if he's right, he wins the game.
And I would guess that the card is in Eric's hand.
Nope, it is not. So, my turn, I would guess, if there's still other players in the game, that it's in the ruins. And it is.
And Eric has just found the Lost Legacy.
Therefore, winning the game. Now, one of the cool things about this game is it does give you a suggested amount of rounds to play for winning the game. Mm-hmm. With a 2-player game, they actually recommend that you play the game to 7 wins. which is a little high, but keeping in mind you're not playing the game for like 2 seconds, you're actually playing the game to play a game. You know, you might actually be there a while.
I think 7 probably, based on how long the first game we played took us, I'd say 7 will probably take about a half an hour to 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. However,
Yeah.
you know, it's, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool feature of the game. So we'll go right into opinions. And you know what, Frank? This time I'm going to start.
Hey, Eric, what do you think of Lost Legacy?
Hey, I'll tell you. It's so much like Love Letter that they actually even give you a little bag. And to be honest, I actually like this better for the name. It's a lot easier to say to your friends who don't know what the game is, hey, you want to play Lost Legacy? And they go, yeah, okay. Or you want to play Love Letter? And they go, I think we'll play a different game. So, name alone, it does, as people who are, going to be like, oh, I don't want to play that game because of his name, it does draw in a lot more people. I, however, do feel that, unlike Love Letter, Lost Legacy does kind of feel more defensive, less like there's actual actions in the game. I feel like there's a lot of things you can do in Love Letter. There's a lot of things you can do to affect other people, to see what's in their hand, to cause effects, to keep people out in a more... It feels different. It feels like a different game. Unlike this one feels like you're really kind of just holding back. I honestly don't own Love Letter. I will be owning Loot Letter when it comes out, but I don't own Love Letter, and I probably would not add this game to my collection. It's a good game. Personally, when Frank pulls it out, I will play this game, so it belongs in your collection. But definitely, maybe I'll give it a try with 6 players, and if it's fun with 6 players, which you can actually, the gameplay is 2 to 4, but you can buy a second set and mix and match and play it with 6. I heard tell of someone from Frank saying you could play with 8, and frankly, I heard it didn't turn out that well. But so I'll give it a try with 6 players down the line, and if I like it, I'll definitely upgrade it, and I'll let you guys know. I'll make a retraction and say it belongs in my collection. But until then, I'm going to say this belongs in your collection.
I really enjoy the game a lot. It belongs in my collection. In fact, it's in my collection. And I'm a huge, huge fan of Love Letter. I love Love Letter. And this game, for me, feels like a love letter that I can definitely play with a bunch of my gamer friends while we're waiting at game night for somebody else to show up, because somebody's always late to game night. Although, oddly enough, it's me. But Lost Legacy, very, very cool. I love the twists, and I love the fact that you can actually build your own deck if you get expansions for it. You can create your own. And like Eric said, with the somebody playing up to 8, it's really important to stick to 6, I think, because the 8-player idea that somebody had did not work out very well. I like it as a 2-player game, and I really enjoy just the overall guessing and bluffing aspect of these style of games. And I love the fact that it's a game that can fit in my glove box or my pocket or my box of fun, as I call my game box, for party games. And yeah, this is a game that I can bring out at game night. It might take a little convincing to get my family to play it just because of the theme, but if I can get them to play Resistance, I can get them to play this. So Lost Legacy definitely goes in my collection.